Since 1925, the VFW National Home in Eaton Rapids, Michigan, has remained a prominent representation of the absolute best that the Veterans of Foreign Wars and its auxiliary has to offer through our work together. This morning, we are honored to be joined by three exceptional individuals: National Home Board President Jerry Blake, Executive Director Mike Wilson, and most importantly, our 2025 Buddy Poppy child, Lachlan. Lachlan lives in the New Hampshire house at the National Home with his mom, dad, three brothers, and their dog, Nora. This fall, he'll be entering the 7th grade. A big fan of reading, Lachlan especially enjoys comics and novels, with Harry Potter being his favorite series. He enjoys collecting Funko Pops, playing soccer, and listening to music. His favorite band is the Dave Matthews Band, and he's already been to 5 of their concerts. In fact, he says that going to concerts is his favorite thing to do in the whole world. Lachlan stays busy at the National Home, taking sewing lessons, drum lessons, and playing the piano. His favorite family activity is visiting Cedar Point. Living at the National Home means a great deal to him. He says it's a very special place, a community where he feels supported and connected. His father served in the United States Army for 6 years, deploying for 1 year to Afghanistan. His uncle and great-grandfather served in the Army as well. Lachlan says he's very proud to come from a family that has helped protect our country. As you can see, Lachlan is a bright, talented, and truly exceptional young man. Let's give our friends at the National Home a big, warm welcome.
Could you run the film, please?
The home is such a unique experience and a unique place that we should be screaming it from the rooftop. This is the kind of things that need support. These are the kind of programs that actually work and actually affect the change that we want to see in communities.
Our next story takes us to Eaton Rapids, Michigan.
Eaton Rapids is the site of the Veterans of Foreign Wars Home. The home has been in existence since 1925 and is a fully equipped community.
1925. This is when it all began. New York had become the world's largest city. Automobiles, radio, and electricity were sweeping the country. And casualties from World War I had created a need to help orphans, widows, and families that the war had left behind.
There weren't a lot of benefits back then, and so widows were left with nothing. Big cities like Detroit had the automakers that were helping where they could. They were letting veterans live in factories while they were working for the factory and trying to reestablish themselves, but there was nothing for children. There was nothing for widows.
The veterans came back and the VA facilities were deplorable. They had bugs in their beds. All of the veterans from World War I had lice, so that's why they had cooties. And so at night, the soldiers would pick the lice out of their uniforms. They would crawl up the seams, so they would end up pulling the lice out of their seams of their wool uniforms.
Critical to combat is the ability to communicate, because that's where your support comes from. You don't think about fear. What you think about is survival.
The thought of being in the shoes of any homeless veteran, their widow, and family deeply bothered a passionate woman who worked for the VFW Department of Michigan and cared deeply about its mantra, honor the dead by helping the living.
Amy Ross was a very passionate young lady that saw these veterans struggling and suffering, and she just felt like there was something that needed to be done. In the meantime, the Military Order of the Cootie was creating this grand plan to create some type of a home or some type of establishment where those children and mothers could go and live.
We came up with the concept of the National Home in 1923, but we didn't have the funding to do it. We didn't know where we wanted to do it. A couple of years later, the VFW came up and said, yeah, we want to do this. So they took the idea that the MOC had and they ran with it.
Along comes Corey Spencer, an owner of a 472-acre cattle farm in Michigan. He offered the land up to the state of Michigan, and together the state, the National VFW organization, and the Military Order of the Cootie established the VFW National Home.
The National Home is one of the biggest secrets that we have in our organization. We as members know about it, and we understand what it's all about. Very few people outside of the state of Michigan understand that this is a place where veterans from all over the United States can go and get help that they need.
When I was 10 years old, we had some unfortunate things happen in my family, and we ended up being homeless. My mother's friend told her about a place called the VFW National Home. She applied, and we ended up moving into the Wisconsin house. It was the first time that I had real stability in my childhood.
I was 12. My father died of a cerebral hemorrhage in 1964. And in 1966, the best move for us was to come out here as a family. There was kind of a change, but I ended up meeting some very good friends of mine, and the home became home.
When I went into service, I was 19 years old. On July the 3rd, when I got out, the guidance I got was, don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. That was my transition. And so now it's getting much better.
So every military member's transition is different, and not everybody struggles, but some do. When you come home from the military, depending on how long you were gone, you feel like a stranger in your own home.
After being in the military, he kind of lost who he was. So moving here, I think, gave him like a relief of feeling like he doesn't have to be going all the time. Like he can take a second and he can enjoy, the things and everything around him.
The military does a great job of creating soldiers, sailors, Marines, and airmen. That's their job. That's what they do. What they don't do is they don't create good veterans. That's the VFW's job. That's the VFW National Home's job. That's what we do.
Supports many VFW activities. But 1 cent for each poppy sold is earmarked for support of the National Home.
I had the security and the time and the peace of mind, and I could give my youngsters all the love and attention they need.
Imagine an 8-year-old child in 1926, 1927, who leaves the only family he knows in California. And he gets on a train, and 4 days later, he's dropped off in Lansing, Michigan, to be picked up by a house mother or a nurse. He's brought to the National Home. He's taken to the hospital, where he's thoroughly examined, make sure he's healthy, and then he goes downstairs, and he's locked in a quarantine room for 2 weeks to make sure that he doesn't have tuberculosis. And then he can finally go meet his new family, living in one of the houses.
Early on, kids were taken care of by a house mother. These mothers would care for 4, 5, 6, or even 7 orphans at a time.
Tom, who's 11, makes toast for breakfast, cleans boys' bathroom, cleans rubber mats in kitchen, and sweeps basement steps and hall. Lee, 18, counts and sorts laundry, keeps boys' rooms in order.
They ran a tight ship that incorporated love, discipline, hard work, education, and accountability. The number of child residents peak in past history, with a total of 209 child residents in both June 1961 and June 1962. As time went on and veteran care improved across the country, the National Home began welcoming not just families of veterans, but veterans themselves.
My home is currently here at the VFW National Home, and I mean, this place is a godsend. If there's anything you ever need, they're there for you. Like, they're trying to get you from the low point in your life back to being on your feet, ready to hit the road.
Well, I was in a terrible marriage for 12 years. I was a stay-at-home mom. It ended up being a situation I felt like I had to flee from. At that time, I was 327 pounds, severe anxiety, depression, and it really wasn't looking good for me. This place gave me that opportunity to sit back and really take a look at myself and what I needed to do for myself.
These people that are living at the National Home are living in the finest environment that I think they could ever have.
The home is here to help them. It's not a handout, it's a hand up.
We have the same mission every year. We never change. That's taking care of veterans and make sure veterans get the best home and the best training and best education they can while they're here.
You can just see the gratitude in the people that live here and how happy they are to have a place to live and for people to take care of them. It just makes you feel good.
The unusual thing about this community is that there are very few adult men. It's populated by the wives and children of dead or disabled veterans. The team is captained by a 17-year-old veteran named Lincoln Burt.
We're going to have a structure, and they're going to set it on fire.
The firefighters were the kids. All the boys that were here at the home were firefighters.
I was 13, and then it became a lifetime career.
I've made really great friends here, but this place gave me what I didn't have, and that was support.
I'm very proud of the work that the Veterans of Foreign Wars Auxiliary does for the National Home, because for them, this is not just an organization taking care of a home. This is an organization taking care of family.
But it's not a free house, it's a program. Every veteran and their family that comes there has to put in the work. They have to put in 40 hours of productivity every week, whether that's going to college, whether that's working, whether that's working on their disabilities through the VA. They all have to be productive. And that's how we help them become better veterans, is teach them how to be productive in their community and their society.
This is a home all for one simple goal, and that's to be the best they can be.
The mission created by our forefathers has evolved over the past 100 years, but the commitment of the VFW National Home and all of its supporters and donors has not. Together, we rededicate ourselves to the next century of service.
Very gripping video. Commander, it's been a pleasure working with you this past year and the National President to move the National Home into the future. It's been a great honor. National officers, fellow comrades, we have come a long way in 100 years. We are just now starting the next 100 years. 3 years ago, we decided that it was time to go into different directions with the motivation of certain officers. At that time, the Board of Trustees got together and we started a nationwide hunt for somebody that was a veteran, like-minded like us, and was there with the passion to take care of veterans and their families returning home. I'd like to take this instance to introduce you to a good friend of mine and your National Executive Director of the National Home, Mr. Mike Wilson.
Got a note here somewhere, but first of all, Commander Lippert, national leaders, thank you all once again for letting us be here. We appreciate you so much. We appreciate all you do for the VFW National Home. 100 years, and we're still going. That's right. We're not in the end zone dancing right now. We're back in the tunnel getting ready to come out for the next fight. We're going to do it. So I got to tell you, this 100 years has been pretty incredible. We started out with a birthday party in January. We had a nice gala event in February, and we cut a ribbon on our first new family home in March. Where's Missouri? Missouri, all right. We call that house Missouri 2 Pilot House. We did that because in 2023 we had a brand new problem. We hadn't had at the National Home in a long time, and that's all the houses were full, and we didn't have room for more families. That's right, put your hands, yeah. So we had to fix that problem. We had to create a growth plan, and that's what we've been doing ever since. We changed around the way we take care of those families a little bit and started a program we call the Red, White, and Blue program. And if I had a half hour, which Dan says I don't have, I would love to tell you about it. But if you want to come to our seminar later on today, I'll be glad to tell you more about it. Where's Ohio? They started the Red, White, and Blue grant program right over there this year. We're so appreciative of them. I can tell you, the veterans come and veterans go. Every year, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 families move in, move out. And as they're moving out, I see more and more homeowners. They're moving out into a home they own. They spent their time there very wisely. They went to school. They got a career. They went to college. They got mortgage ready. They found the home they want to live in. They either move back to where they came from or they find someplace local. They buy a home and they live there. And that makes me so proud every single day. I got to thank the Board of Trustees for trusting me, first of all, and then being on board with the vision to move ahead. And we've been moving and we're not stopping. You'll see more and more about the National Home as we go by every single day, because we're not stopping. We're going to grow and grow. The original plan for the National Home, 1924, was to have 300 homes. Now, we're not going to get there while I'm alive, but we're going to keep growing. We're going to keep working on it. Al, I'd like to thank you so much for the endowment fundraiser that you raised. Several $1,000s will go into our endowment, and that money will be used in perpetuity. The interest of that money will be used in perpetuity to continue to help our veterans, and we certainly appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your participation on our Board of Trustees. The Commander-in-Chief and the National President sat on our board for a year, and Al's been very, very forthcoming and sharing and offering information and offering advice, and he's been a good friend to me, and I appreciate that. So I guess it's time for me to get out of the way and let the person you really come to hear talk come up and talk. In March, we got our new buddy Poppy Child, a little different than the last couple. As a matter of fact, it's a boy, and he's a rock star. He's cool. You're going to love him. He's a great kid. If you get a chance out here, stop outside, see him, shake his hand, give him your pin or your coin. He's a great kid. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Lachlan.
Make sure it doesn't fall off from there, okay? Hello everybody, my name is Lachlan Bennett. I am 13 and I live in the New Hampshire house at the VFW National Home in Eaton Rapids, Michigan. I live there with my mom, Shauna, and my dad, Corey. I also have 3 brothers whose names are Taj, Zeppelin, and August, and I also have a dog named Nora. Before I start, I would really like to thank everyone here and anyone who supports veterans and their families in any way. It means a lot to know that there are people that appreciate veterans who served and protect our country. I am in the 7th grade. I like to read comics and novels. My favorite book series is Harry Potter. I also collect Funko Pops and play soccer. I love to listen to music. My favorite band is the Dave Matthews Band. I have been to 5 of their shows so far. I love to go to concerts. It's my favorite thing in the world to do. I am taking sewing lessons and drum lessons, which I am super good at. I also play the piano. My piano teacher is Miss Rhonda. She's the best piano teacher ever. She is so nice to everyone. I don't think I could have asked for a better teacher. I am thankful for the VFW National Home because they offer so many extra after-school activities for everyone to be a part of. If it wasn't for the VFW National Home, I wouldn't know I was good at any of these things. When I moved up to Michigan, I missed my friends, my neighborhood, and my community. It wasn't until I moved into the VFW that I felt like I was a part of a community again. That's one reason the VFW is so special to me. Another reason is that I love to go to the state days with people from different states. I love to help by serving soft serve ice cream and cleaning afterwards because it is so cool to see veterans from different states come to one place to have fun and play games. The VFW National Home always thinks of creative ways to have fun during the summer when school is out. They do fun daily trips and activities for the kids on campus. For example, taking us swimming into the library, but my favorite activity would have to be going to Cedar Point. I rode my first roller coaster and my family had so much fun. My father served in the Army for 6 years. He did 1 year deployment in Afghanistan. My uncle Kyle also served in the Army. He served for 4 years and was deployed to Iraq for 1 year. My great-grandpa also served in the Army for 4 years. I am very proud to come from a military family and to know people in my family protected the USA. On behalf of every family that has had the privilege to live at the VFW National Home, we thank each and every one of you for your support to veterans and their families. It's an honor to represent the VFW National Home and be the Buddy Poppy child for one year.
So one last thing I'd like to share with you. This brick will be dedicated in your honor in our walkway near the museum next spring. And thank you so much for everything you've done for the National Home.
Thank you very much, Mike. Great job, buddy. Great job. Thank you.